Hey guys, it's Lee Ackerman, and this is my final project for Music 282 Music as Therapy. The topic I decided to do it on is major depressive disorder. Why I chose this topic? My personal relationship to depression. I suffer from depression, I have for about 20 years now. Relationship at my worst. The attempted suicide I had as a result of my depression. And lastly, my personal recovery, the epiphany I had that led me to enroll back in school to study music therapy and seeing a therapist on my own as well. I cut this presentation into two parts. The first part is I'm going to talk about people who suffer from major depressive disorder. So, what is it? What causes it? People who suffer from it, suicide treatment, support groups, and of course, music therapy as treatment because this is a music therapy course, so might as well as talk about it in the presentation. The second part is my own personal battle. So as you see, like I said, my own personal battle, my own personal recovery, the epiphany, and how I'm doing today. So let's get a roll on this. People who suffer from major depressive disorder. So what is major depressive disorder? It is a mood disorder in which a person experiences 2 or more weeks of moods or diminished interest in certain activities. It could also be a state of mind affected by life events in a negative way. That's my own personal definition on it. What factors cause major depressive disorder? They could be genetic. They can be passed down from generations to generation to generation. Biological, same kind of thing. Environmental, what's going on around you in society. And psychological, it could just be in your head. And you can make yourself depressed and everything. Life events that can cause major depressive disorder. Weddings. Weddings are supposed to be a very happy time in people's lives, but for the people who feel left out or aren't exactly at the same point in their lives, it can put you into a depressive state. Loss of a job. Loss of a job is definitely a cause of major depressive disorder. Especially if you have a family, you worry about how you're going to support them, and even if you don't, losing a job, it just puts you down. Lastly, the loss of a relative, especially a close relative, like a parent or a grandparent or a sibling, it definitely will put you into a depressive state. People who suffer from major depressive disorder. This is just a few of the groups. I mean, obviously, all people of all sexes and genres and stuff can suffer from depression. Young adults just out of college, struggling to make ends meet, not working in their careers, doing what they want to do. Teenagers, especially like in the picture, like the girl who feels like an outcast and everything. She's gonna be bullied, and she's gonna put her in a depressive mind. And lastly, senior citizens, especially as you get older, and you're not keeping yourself busy. Your parents have already died, and you're losing siblings and friends, and hopefully not children, but the loss of people that you love as you get older and realizing, hey, I might be the only one left, well, that's not very appetizing either. Symptoms of major depressive disorder. I'm just going to give a brief overview. Persistent sad or empty feelings, feelings of hopelessness, feelings of helplessness, restlessness, a loss of interest in activities or hobbies that you once loved to do. I know here it says that word, but like going to the gym, going out, basically you're just sitting inside doing nothing. Fatigue and decreased energy, difficulty concentrating, insomnia or excessive sleeping. Basically, you're staying in bed and you're not getting up, so you're sleeping more, and because of that, your sleep pattern is off. You could be going to sleep at like 4 in the morning. Overeating, thoughts of suicide, or like aches and pains, headaches, cramps, or digestive problems that you will pick up. So, what is suicide? As per the APA, it is the act of killing yourself, most often as a result of depression or other mental illness. The suicide rate is most active with people in the age group of 45 to 64 and lowest in the age group of 5 to 14. And most suicides are done by firearms, hanging oneself, and overdosing on drugs or poison. Other means can include jumping off a bridge or onto a train track. This is just a table of both of them, as of 2007 that I just talked about on the other page. treatment for major depressive disorder. Medication like fluoxetine, which is also Prozac, Zoloft, Lexapro, Paxil, and Celexa. Psychotherapy, also known as outpatient therapy. You can go speak to a therapist about your problems and just get everything out in the open. Electroconvulsive therapy and other brain stimulation therapies. There is a newer treatment called transcranial magnetic stimulation. It's also called TMS. It's a treatment in which magnetic pulses are used to stimulate parts of the brain believed to be involved in mood regulation. They basically take a magnet and put it to your head. You don't have to be asleep to do it, and it's supposed to lower your depression rate. Support groups. NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, was founded in 1979. It researches mental health illness, and they run a fundraiser every year called NAMI Walks to raise money. The National Institute on Mental Illness. They basically transform the understanding and treatment of mental illness through basic and clinical research, paving the way for prevention, recovery, and cure. And local groups, like through your local church, synagogue, school, library, wherever, even through your outpatient therapy, there you can find local groups for people who suffer the same thing as you do. What friends and family can do to learn signs and symptoms. Obviously, they're going to pick up that you're depressed. So what they can do, if they see that you're feeling sad, down, or empty, that you're losing the interest, that you're feeling hopeless, that you're feeling irritable, changes in appetite. Basically all the reasons I said for depression before, if other people are noticing in this with you, they can come up to you and ask and see how you're doing and try to help you out. What friends and family can do to encourage treatment. Like I said, go up and talk to the person and see how they're doing. Like if you think they're having a bad day, like sometimes just being asked how they're doing could lighten their mood. Explain that depression is a medical condition. It's not a personal flaw. Suggest that the person go see somebody. Go talk to a therapist or a doctor. And also offer help to help prepare a list of questions. And express your willingness to help. Like, be there for the person. Don't turn your back on them because they are going to need you every step of the way. Music therapy as a means of treatment. Something you can do is a home-based program where participants learn music listening stress reduction techniques at weekly home visits by music therapists. So the music therapist can come to your house and play for you if you can't get out of bed. Also, my own personal things, listening to music on your own based off of your mood. I know sometimes when I'm in a bad mood, the Atreyu version of You Give Love a Bad Name is perfect for my mood. And then as your mood changes, you can go from death rock to more rock or stuff. Outpatient therapy with a music therapist who specializes with major depressive disorders. That's the same thing as going to see a regular therapist, but obviously suffer with music. And also the use of lyrics or content of a song or songwriting as a group or playing music by yourself. Anything that involves music you can do to help recover. From a personal perspective, I think looking and analyzing song lyrics is the best form of music therapy. Seeing the underlying meaning of a song could be religious, spiritual, and self-absorbing. Basically, any song lyric can mean something to you. It's how you determine it to be. Alright, we're up to part 2, my own personal battle with major depressive disorder. In 2011, I lost my job at Bally Total Fitness. For the next year, I had difficulty finding a new job. And again, throwing the fact that my friends were all either married, engaged, having kids, or in their careers, I had nothing to show for my life. As you can see, this picture is actually me at my heaviest, at probably a few weeks before my lowest point. There were days where I would just lie in bed. I wouldn't even shower. I did have a gym membership, but I very rarely went. I would also eat at weird times. 2 a.m. McDonald's runs were common for me. Lastly, I had no self-esteem or confidence in myself. I basically went along with other people. I wasn't my own individual. As my landlord in my building said, you are a boy trapped in a man's body. On August 12, 2012, I decided to end it all by jumping off the George Washington Bridge. My grandfather was born in New Jersey, so it was as if I would be returning home. When I got to the walkway, it was closed. Realizing I had failed at even attempted suicide, I broke down in tears. This was my absolute lowest point. My own personal recovery. I spent time in a hospital, Mount Sinai in New York, where the doctors finally diagnosed me with depression, and they prescribed me fluoxetine or Prozac. Outpatient therapy, also fitness. I see therapist Liz Landers every other week now at the Arapahoe Mental Health. I go to the gym regularly. I do yoga and I do a meditation thing at least once a week, sometimes more. Gym I do 2 to 3 times a week, and when the weather was nice, I jogged on Saturdays, Sunday being my day of rest. Personal support, my family, my friends, my therapists, and even you guys, my colleagues. I feel like so far this semester I've opened myself up in ways I never have before. The epiphany that I had that led me to music therapy. On August 18th, 2012, while in the shower, the light bulb went on and the light bulb went on. The song that you're hearing in the background is Hey Jude by the Beatles. When I got to the word her for the first time, I knew what it meant. It meant God. To me, it meant I was ready to forgive God for all that she had done to me. And yes, in my personal view, God is a woman. How it led to music therapy. I figured if I could have this kind of epiphany, that I could help others have the same kind of epiphany. It was this moment that I knew that I wanted to pursue music therapy as a career. This is me today. This is my most recent picture taken on Thanksgiving Day. I enrolled back in school at St. Mary of the Woods College. I lost 40 pounds in a year. I let go of most of my past anger. I don't sweat the small stuff. I'm able to show my face at my friend's wedding in June. And I also did my first 5K in September. Overall, I'm in a much better place than I was over a year ago. I know there are others who suffer from major depressive disorder who are also in a much better place than when they were at their lowest. I also know that necessarily they might not be. It's a daily process. Some days you have good days, some days you have bad days. The most important thing is to leave the bad day in the past. So this is my bibliography. And as you heard in the background, I did have music with a nice lovely sunset of Hawaii. My Way, I did the Frank Sinatra version. Paul Anka wrote it, in case you didn't know that. And I did Hey Jude by the Beatles, because that's the song that has guided me through this great journey of mine. So that is my project on major depressive disorder. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I look forward to hearing comments back, and have a good day wherever you are.